Your boy, High Five Vega. We are here live. I have guests. We're doing old school 20 questions. If you haven't seen this before and you're thinking to yourself, hey, what is old school 20 questions? It's just basically a game of 20 questions, and they're trying to guess a piece of old school equipment that I have in mind. The way we do this are simple. The rules. You have to ask a yes or no question. That's rule number one. I can answer that yes or no if I choose, if I don't choose. The next rule is you have to guess on your 20th question. So your 20th question has to be a guess of what the item is. So technically, you only got 19 questions to figure out what it is. Outside of that, we're just trying to have some fun. And I'm joined today. We're going to start from the top by my dude, Jason El Fuego Zemer. What's up, Jason?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be a participant in this, and let's see what we can do. I think I know something, but we'll push it forward. I'm excited.
Yeah. Also, down below in the Hollywood Square, we have the car audio guy, Anthony. What's going on, man?
Hey everyone, it's 1:30 a.m. here, so you're gonna have to excuse me if I sound a little tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, the car audio guy over here. Looking forward to figuring out what it is, what piece of equipment it is you've got. So yeah, give
Yeah.
it my best shot.
And I don't have the piece of equipment here either. I picked something I don't have, so make it a little harder for you guys. But in the bottom left, my dude, the man, the third era. What's up?
What's up? What's happening, everybody? Had my Wheaties this morning, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man. I'm getting pumped up. I've got a couple items for us to try to guess. And if you guys are clear on the rules, I think we can go ahead and start. If everyone's good with that, just remember you're going to do like kind of a round table so you guys can ask questions. You only have 20 questions all together, and just kind of, talk through it. Tell us what you're thinking, which way you're going, kind of break this down and try to figure out what this item is. So we'll go ahead and start, and any of you can start with your questions. Just fire away. We'll start with the first one.
Right, so I'm 29. Is this piece of equipment older than me?
That would be.
You're asking Hi-Fi to do math.
Yeah. No, it's not. So that's pretty good info because that lets you know it's basically 1990 or after. So that's question number one. What do you got for me, El Fuego?
I'll go next. I'd like to zero down as to what the piece of equipment is, and I'm thinking, is this an amplifier?
Yes, it is amplifier. Very good questions. Already in two. We're getting close.
Okay, thank you.
Oh man, he hopped in there and got lucky with it. All right, well, since I'm thinking that this piece of equipment is something that you have personally, I'm just gonna go ahead and take that leap. Is it something that you have installed in your vehicle for a video that you put on YouTube?
No, it is not.
Mm.
But I will say that I have installed one in my vehicle at some point in time.
Okay.
Rick's over here trying to help you all out a little bit.
I know, right?
I don't know if you can trust them or not, but we're at 3 questions. What you got?
So, is the piece of equipment rated at more than 1,000 RMS?
No, it is not. That's another good question. All right, we're at 4. So I have installed one in my vehicle. It is not in any of my videos. It's less than 1,000 RMS rated, and it's less than 29 years old. So it was after 1990.
I've got another question. Has it ever been featured in one of Big D Wiz's videos? You might not know the answer to that, I guess. But
you know what? I don't think it has because I've looked for it, and this is, yeah, it hasn't. I don't think it has. No.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and steal one in. Here we go. Would you consider it a quote-unquote cheater amp?
So if you've seen my history of cheater amps, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little extra. This would be considered a sleeper amp, in my opinion, and not so much a cheater amp.
Okay, that narrows it down. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're at
Go ahead,
6
Fuego.
now.
Get him, Fuego.
Is the manufacturer Autotech?
No. All right, we're at 7.
I'm going to jump in with this one because Josh has asked a good question. Is it a Class AB amp?
It certainly is. It's a Class AB amp. We're at 8 now. Oh, my dude's in the house. Will Savard, what's going on, man? All right, who's got the next bright idea why I take this drink of water?
All right. Go ahead, Fuego.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Go ahead, Jason.
Is the 4-ohm RMS power rating less than 250 watts per channel?
Yes, it is. That's a very specific question. I can't believe you got it. It was less than 250 watts per channel.
Okay. That's a good question, Jason. I mean, I don't think he had a lot of amps that had that much power. He's always talking about how he doesn't have a lot of power with his systems and stuff. So I'm guessing it's probably something that does probably around plus 100, nothing more than that, but it's probably rated 50 times 4 is what I'm thinking. But to get a question more specific for it, I think I'm just going to have to go with a brand and see if we can get in there. How about this? Is it an Orion amp?
No, it's not an Orion amp. Can you believe that?
I thought you were a fanboy.
Yeah, I know, man. you're really gonna freak out whenever. What are you feeling? What are you thinking, El Fuego?
I'm thinking, is this a 4-channel amp?
No, it's not a 4-channel amp. That's 11. Now I will say this. I'm gonna give you guys a little hint. Since we're at 11, I have mentioned this amp before, and it's maybe an amp that you guys wouldn't typically think of me using or liking. You know, something I've mentioned on 12 Volt Talk or mainly on 12 Volt Talk. I've mentioned some of it on my my own channel, but we got some more guesses here. Michael Owens, Juan, and Jason. What are you guys thinking? What are you feeling? Should you narrow it down even more by class, or should you go by manufacturer, or should you try to narrow the dates down even more since you know it was produced after 1990?
Yeah, I'm thinking for sure this has got to be a before 2000 also, Jason. So I don't know if we should waste a question on that because I don't think he would, quote unquote, have a 2-channel amp after 2000. It just doesn't seem, especially to run mids and highs.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe there should be a question around where the amplifier was manufactured.
All right, what are you guys thinking? It's got to be in a yes or no form, so the question does.
Oh,
that was a transitional period of time where.
Let me. I got a good question. I think it could kill 2 birds with 1 stone right here.
Awesome.
So was it after the buyout?
No, it was before the DEI buyout.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's
okay.
12.
Whoa.
Okay, before the buyout. Hey, man, we're looking at like an American-made amplifier, fellas.
Yep.
Now you got some manufacturers to think of.
Guess that limits my knowledge a bit, considering I'm in the UK. But
yeah, you're right, Wyatt. It is probably a Z-made amp, but ooh, 2-channel though.
They got some questions.
How many questions are we up to?
We're at 12 questions, so you have 7 more questions than a guess.
Let me ask this question. Was the amplifier manufactured on the West Coast of the United States?
Are you talking about like the western half of the United States?
Yeah.
Or specifically the West Coast?
Well, I'm talking continental, the Rockies, or I don't know how
yes, the west side of the United States for sure. That's a good question.
All right.
It's a good question. I'm thinking it's a Z amp. I'm thinking it's like a weird amp too. Something.
Yeah. So you can maybe narrow it down by manufacturers, or Zed would cover quite a few, so that might make it tough. But maybe
I already asked the question about Autotech, so that that's a Z amp, and that is out. We all know that Zed produced a lot of different amplifiers. Back in that day for a lot of manufacturers. I mean, it in my mind, it could be a Hyphonics amp, it could be a Planet Audio amp, it could be. There was an amp that started with a C. There's also Rodec was made by Autotech. There's several others. So it's I mean, if it is a Z amp, there's a bunch of things that are out there, but it may be worth asking if it was that that manufacturer. I'm just throwing out to the panelists and see.
I'm thinking, you know what? And he kind of did mention that it's something that he wouldn't normally run. And Rob's not really a Lanzar guy. Zed did make a couple of Lanzar amps back in the day.
I was sitting here thinking about Lanzar.
You're right.
So, I mean, he had all those one-off models though of those 2 channels that just, high current this and
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a specific 2 channel though that's.
So you've got it narrowed down to below 250 watts a channel.
Wait a second. Yeah. I was looking at a video. I was looking at a video the other day, and I could have swore that I saw something that was a Planet Audio old school amp that was super like a high current type, Z audio amp. And I think it might have been Hi-Fi Vega that had that video. I mean, I don't know for sure, but
he said he didn't have it on his channel.
I mean, you wouldn't be talking about the Planet Audio 225 HC.
That's it.
Would you?
That's it.
Well, let's hear the next question. What we got? We're at 13 now.
Oh, I thought you said it wasn't on your channel though.
Oh, interesting. Right. Interesting.
Because I mean, that was on a live stream where he blew it up.
Yeah.
So.
So this game's more about knowing me than it is knowing the item itself.
Try to break Rob down right now. Trying to get to his roots.
Yeah, he's about 6'4", 250, something like that.
Yep. Bobby's got some guests for you.
Yeah,
Rick.
It's probably going to be an OptiDrive, Rick. You're right, but I mean, there's so many. There's like 7 different models of that. How are you going to break down the?
David hits in.
Trying to be more specific with it.
Rockwood or Kenwood audio any good? No, for sure.
Kenford.
Man. All right, so what's the next question? Do y'all want to know if it's Z made or not? Do you think that would help you out?
I think it would. I mean, just if we can eliminate that whole West Coast portion,
because if it is a Z amp,
amplifiers.
If it's a Z amp, it's it's most likely a nightmare for you. If it's not a Z amp, it cuts almost in half the amps.
Yeah, it does.
Agreed.
So, is that the question?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it a Z-made amplifier?
It is not a Z-made amplifier.
Wow.
Okay. 2 channels.
Just thinking. So, I'm assuming it's probably an amplifier that's more specific to the US market than it is the UK. So the Jason and the third era. Are you able to fill me in on what sort of brands we're left with?
So,
If you say it's not Z amp.
So wait a second. I think I picked up on a clue here. I asked if the amplifier was manufactured on the West Coast. Hi-Fi tried to clarify what was West Coast, Western United States. I think that there might be a line somewhere on the continent that's not the West Coast, not California, not, anything like that. It's somewhere, more in like the middle of the country. And if I'm looking at that, and I've traveled all around, like a lot of us have, I'm thinking it might be Kicker. It might be something Oklahoma, something.
So let me round this down.
I don't know.
Would the amplifier have been available in the UK? Or is that something you wouldn't really know?
Yes, I think it was available in the UK because this is
okay. So that for you guys that obviously aren't from the UK, that leaves it a lot of more mainstream brands. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's
because they're the only ones that only make it really into the UK. And
that's a very good question because that really, I mean, that's a very good question because that pinned me in. I mean, you've got it narrowed down pretty good there.
So that opens up. Excuse me if I accidentally cross over to one of the ones it can't possibly be, but like stuff like JL Audio, Kicker's in the UK. Trying to think what else we would have over there into the UK.
Jason,
Boss Audio
was Precision Power and stuff like that getting into the UK in that early 90 period?
I don't know about the early 90s period. Now you have to import it in from the US because I have a friend that has some Precision Power stuff, and he has to pay all the taxes and everything to import it from the US. It's not a mainstream brand over here, though.
Yep, I wasn't thinking of Precision Power whenever I said that. And I'm gonna throw you a little hint from the DIY or the DIY audio guy.
Yeah,
JL is in Florida, so it's not JL.
It's not.
Hey, I find it might be helpful for us to get a recap of where we're at with questions.
Yeah,
okay,
let's do that real quick.
The amp is made after 1990. It is less than 250 watts RMS per channel. It is not a 4-channel amp. It is not a Z-made amp. It is made in the western part of the United States, not specifically the West Coast, but the western part of the United States. Who else? I remember there was a few of them that I forgot that
it was available in the UK.
Is not a is available in the UK, and it's not a Lancer amp either.
Right, to help the guys out on here, if I shout out some brands that I know that are available in the UK, you guys will probably know whether they're manufactured in the place that you mentioned, because I'm not too great with the obviously the US geographics or whatever. So Alpine, I don't know if that's completely annihilated out. Well, I suppose that's manufactured in China. I don't know. Well, where would it have been manufactured back then, to be fair?
Trying to think of what Alpine amp though was. Go ahead, go through the list. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you got Alpine, Kicker, Boss Audio. We did have Planet Audio a long time ago now. Just trying to think what other brands off the top of my head. Rockford, Kenwood, Pioneer.
Rockford.
I don't know if any of these are giving you any hints. I'm just trying to think what else we have available.
I think it's Rockford. It's got to be something Rockford.
If it was
Rockford's quite popular in the UK.
It might be a monoblock amp then, if we're going to think it's a Rockford, maybe like one of the power ones.
Maybe that's a question. If it's less than 4 channels, is it, maybe a question is it a
mono? I'm trying to remember if I've ever heard Rob say that he's had some Rockford amps.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them.
Yeah, someone mentioned JBL as well in the comments. They are also available in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a second. There's one thing that we know for sure about Rob. He loves Big Red. He loves Sony. Right? So There
There's
might
not very
be.
many Sony amps that Rob has that I think hasn't been on his channel though.
Yeah.
But I
Or
maybe
that was
he's gotten
made
rid of
in
it in the
the
past.
western part of the United States.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that rules that out.
Because back
Yeah.
then, oh, that's,
Yeah, nobody's
'cause, I mean,
making.
that's Japan.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What
that's
was that, Japan back then for Sony?
Yeah, that
So-
We
rules
got
that out.
We got some more guesses here.
Ooh,
Maybe.
Zapco. Ooh, that is a good
Zapco.
choice.
Yeah.
They had that Zapco 1000 that
Oh,
went out in like,
I think
93.
I think I have something for the group to consider. What about linear power? I've never seen one on Hi-Fi's channel. I know that linear power was built back in the day. It's
Was they in the UK?
I think I don't know if linear power is available in the UK, but those guys
I
have
want to
been
say,
around forever.
I think it's
I'm gonna say I
Travis Solis.
have seen it.
I want to say it's probably the most mainstream brand that we can think of, and it's just right in our face. I think it's like a Kicker or
You know what?
JL
Kicker
Audio.
or
Or
I'm
something like
gonna
that.
give you guys a little hint. Edward's on to something, man. The third area, he's
Yeah.
on to something.
Yes.
Yep.
And since we're close, like, yes, it is something that's right under your nose. Something that you wouldn't typically associate me liking, having, wanting, all the above.
Mhm.
It's got to be a big mainstream brand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I'm trying to remember, man. When you guys get into JL Audio, when you and Big D talk and stuff, it's Big D kind of takes
Yeah.
over and he fanboys it, and I don't ever get your true opinion on it.
Well, JL is in Florida, so
Yeah.
you need to be thinking. I'm gonna give you guys one big hit. Think a state that starts with an A and a city that starts with a T.
You two are gonna have to help me on that one.
It's Arizona and Tucson.
Tucson,
I know that
Arizona.
much.
Yeah.
So I think we need to.
Arkansas
We're at what 16 questions.
We're at
right?
15. We're on our
15.
16th right now.
So I think to narrow this down, we should take the intel that we've got and then try to start maybe narrowing it down and try to. Yeah, Tempe, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tucson. Yeah, what was I think? So
what was
Tempe,
made?
There was Orion was down there. There was Rockford was in that area at the time. What else? Trying to think. PPI was down there. Right? PPI was down there.
Yep.
Was PPI over in Europe?
What did you say, PPI?
Yeah, Precision Power.
So, like I said, I don't know if they're available like mainstream in the UK before, but people I've known that bought I can't pronounce it tonight. Precision Power. They've always had to import it in from the US. It's not really something you go in the shop and buy now, but whether it was like that 20 years ago, I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be driving. So it was like well before my time. But,
I've got a question that I think is worth burning, and it might peel off a little bit of a scab. Is this amplifier in the company that produced it tied to Bernie Bolin?
No, it is not. In no way.
So that to me eliminates Orion and PPI.
Yep.
Yep.
So it eliminates them. I mean, who's in Tempe, Arizona? I don't know why I'm having a brain fart with that. It's got to be a big company.
I think it's Rockford. I
think Rick agrees with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm feeling
we got a few PG guys.
A huge over here still.
And Rockford was everywhere. I mean, heck, I bought a Punch 45 back in the old days, and I know they were everywhere. So,
but we didn't narrow it down on the timeline enough. I think from 1990, because I mean that means it could be if it is like Phoenix Gold, it could be something even. like a Xenon series or something. What was that other series they had?
So
Yeah, they
so
had
what
some
was the last timeline that we have? Late
after 1990.
after 1990.
Yes.
So
how
so we
many
need to
questions do we have left?
You have 3 questions and then a guess of what the amp is. And
somehow we
I'm not
need
going to hold you to a specific model, but if you know the era of the amp and what it is, then I'll give it to you on that.
I think, guys, I think we need to bookmark the time.
Yeah.
Yep. And this helps you with that question.
And
You asked if
pre-buyout.
it's
Yeah.
pre-buyout.
Yeah. That's
So-
true.
Right.
So that happened.
That
Okay, so
buyout
then
was roughly 2000 to 2002, somewhere in that area.
Yeah. So before, that's actually
So you got a
okay.
decade worth of time.
Mhm.
So if it was
And see, I picked a
Rockford,
hard
then they
one
were
because
still in the punt.
for sure, I picked a hard one because I wanted you guys to really work for this one here.
We're digging.
Yeah. I mean, that means if it was a Rockford, that means it was for sure made in America still at that time, because they made their
Yeah.
amps all the way up to 2004.
So
Was
from
still in America with Rockford.
yeah.
So
we're
what
guessing
brands are you
talking
narrowed
from
down to in your
1990?
mind?
It's got to be Rockford or Phoenix Gold. That's in my mind, because it's not
I'm
Kicker,
feeling
it's not
Rockford as well.
Alpine, it's not Pioneer.
Phoenix
Obviously, Japan.
could be Phoenix Gold.
So if
Phoenix?
that's your 2, you could eliminate one for sure by asking one, then assuming the.
I think that's a worthy
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
All right, what is it? Let's hear it.
Go ahead,
Is
third
it-
air.
Let Anthony ask it.
Or somebody
Internet.
ask.
Yeah.
All right. Is it Rockford?
Yes, it's a Rockford Fosgate amp. We're at 17. This is why I said you guys wouldn't expect me to have this amp or pick this amp.
All right. Yeah. What now? The wattage, that max wattage that we said per channel, 2-channel,
250 watts.
250
Yeah, so I'm thinking
watts.
it's like a.
It's a DSM series, is what I'm thinking.
Or it could be. It could still be one of those. What is it? The 150A2, or it could be
That
one
would
of
be
those
the
models.
Black and Grind.
Yeah, the Black and Grind series, right?
Yep.
Because that was after
Yep.
1990 still.
Yep,
No.
could be that.
So that the early 90s we had the DSM. So HD's out of the way because we know it's below
Yep.
that's below 1990. So we're in the DSM Black and Grind, and they had just the Transana in between that, which was just the gray before they went to the Black and Grind. So you got about 3 series.
You know, one thing, thinking about it right now, one thing it could be is that amp that Big D is running in his vehicle right now on that JLW, what is it, 10W7, right? He's running a
250M.
2x200, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he
DSM
switched.
500, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, DSM old school to DSM 500. So.
Okay.
But so
Wow, you had one of those, huh, Rob?
Yeah, man. And I've said the specific amp model on 12 volt talk at some point, so that's a big clue. We're so close. We got 2 more questions in the guess.
Okay. I've never heard you talk about the Transana amps. I mean, isn't that Rick? I think it's Rick or Joaquin. They have that 404 Transana.
Yeah.
I don't think
it's
not a 4-channel, so it's a 2-channel.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be one of DSM 200 or the 400 or.
Maybe you could focus in by the type of end bells it has, the color of it would maybe help you. I will say that this is a unique amp. That now it's not unique in design because I want you guys to guess this. It's not unique in design, but it has a unique feature about it that sets it apart from the majority of the massive amounts of amps you've seen coming out of Rockford during the 90s to 2002. So what colors typically do you see in the Rockford amps of those era?
Now I remember
You got
one
the silver
rock.
silver and black
What?
was the
The black and
grind
grind,
models, the black and grind, and those had black end caps.
right?
The DSM models, chrome end caps only on the on like the 800A4 or whatever that had the chrome end caps. I don't think
The 51, the 50.1 also had that, the chrome caps.
Right.
Oh, that we didn't eliminate a monoblock, huh? That's right. We're still
No,
just kind of
we did not.
flying by that it's a 2-channel. Ooh, okay.
How
Is it
many
worthwhile?
questions are left?
We have
had-
2 more questions and then a guess.
See,
All right, let's
okay.
chat room, help us out here.
Yeah,
Let
lifeline here.
let me tell you my mind right here, Jason. So, if we waste a question asking if it's a monoblock or 2-channel, we narrow that down. Let's just say we get it down to it's a 2-channel or it's a monoblock. Then we narrow it down. From there, we have one question to ask if it's like, you know, a DSM or the A2 or. But then we have to guess after that. We got to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is with all the clues that we have, regardless of whether it's a monoblock or a 2-channel amp, I think we're talking about the same series. So I think that there's got to be. Now I remember, and it may be not that old. I remember a silver and red Rockford amp that came out, but I'm not sure if it was, back before this date.
So
It was
the Series 1?
Yeah.
It was silver with red fins?
Yeah. Yep.
That's one I didn't mention, and it was in this era. But I did forget to mention that when I said black and grind, Transana, and DSM.
Mm-hmm. The Series 1. What was that? That was pre-95 then, huh? I'm trying to think of when that model came out.
I think it was around the same time as the Transana.
I had one back in the day, and I don't remember how I came about it, but it seemed like it almost had like a plastic heat sink, like or
it was
a
very
lot of
thin metal.
Yeah, very thin metal. That was, and it was much cheaper than the normal. I don't remember the wattage. It certainly wasn't over 200 watts per channel. I know that much.
We're forgetting about something though, guys. He kind of mentioned that this amp specifically had something about it that kind of set it apart. You know, maybe like
is there anything?
I'm trying to think of it. It's a certain technology that has to deal with not their protection circuit, but the way that like the what is it called? Even till this day, it's still written on all the spec sheets. It starts with a T, maybe TRAC, or dang it, I'm forgetting the acronym.
I think that's the Transana, isn't it?
Yep. It's the Transana technology.
Probably what it is. I thought it was something like a 4-letter acronym, though, is what's in my head for some reason.
I think you might be. I think you might be onto something, but I can't remember that specifically. So that might be a clue as well. What were you thinking, Anthony?
I was about to ask if there's any characteristics about the amps that might eliminate them a little bit, like whether they have a high failure rate or anything like that. I was wanting to discuss with the others, but I don't know if there's a particular characteristic that stands out that might eliminate it a little bit more, or at least cut the size in half.
Well,
then Mark asked if it was a slider series, and certainly not, because that was pre-1990. If you guys got any ideas for them in the chat, pop them in there, and I'll pop them up and let them see what you guys are thinking in the chat. What are your ideas? Are they missing out on something here?
Oh, clearly, we're missing out on something here.
And while we've been waiting, I pulled it up so we can see it. I'll share my screen when it's ready to roll. So win or lose.
What I remember was back, it had to have been 1993, rolling into a car stereo shop. It was Foss Car Audio in Tacoma, Washington. And I saw this amp that was a Rockford Fosgate, and it looked like my dad's barbecue grill, and it had this, it had all these fins, and then it was kind of rounded on the edge and things like that. And so the DSM series, I mean, that's what I remember. The end caps were rounded, and the thing looked like a barbecue grill in the middle. But and then in that same era, I remember there was the Power 100 that was still kind of squared off. There was some other
Amanda
things.
Oliver there, huh? Silver with the gold end caps. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That was
That's
yeah.
that's the amp we're talking about then, right? The 2-channel mod.
What was that? I can picture it's like it was the Darth Vader thing with the silver end caps, right? But the whole thing was silver.
I mean, I know it's a Transana amp, but do I got to get more specific? Like as far as
should you guys ask maybe what color it is, or narrow it a color down? Is it a certain color? Is it?
If it's special, it's got to be chrome, right?
I think our question should be maybe were the end caps a certain color, maybe like besides black, because that would narrow it down. If it was silver or gold, that's really the only two models.
Yeah. The gold, I've seen the gold too.
You guys gonna pull the trigger on it?
Somebody do it.
Gold end caps, huh, Seth?
You can take that one, Ferdera. I did the last one.
Okay. All right, Rob. Does it have gold end caps?
You can find it with gold end caps. Yes.
Oh.
Can't find it.
You got one more question, then you got to guess. So, what amps come with the gold end caps?
The Transana series, obviously. But did they have? For some reason, I'm having a blank. Did they have a monoblock, Jason? Do you know of that one? Because I know they had the 4-channel. I want to say for sure they had a 2-channel.
I think they have a Power series.
It's silver with
body
gold end caps.
Yeah,
we had a 200. I think that was a 200.
Like we need help from the chat here.
Hold on, I didn't even see it. Okay, he's putting them up here. Here we go.
Yeah, all right. Now we're getting help.
I had cropped up my screen. I couldn't even see that you were posting these people's.
Yeah, man, I'm putting them up there for you.
Okay, Seth, what is he saying? Gold end caps.
Gold.
Okay, it's silver.
So what are you thinking? At this point, you know what? So you know what it is, right? You know it's the Transana series of amps. Now you need to narrow down your power, I would say. With your last question, you need to narrow down your power before you decide, because there are several variances in power in this particular amp.
Yeah. I looked
they had
at
a 125 too also. See, that's right, Eric.
Yeah.
Good comment there.
Susan Boyle.
Ooh.
They had a 360.6 with gold end caps. And a funny note on that 360.6, Derek actually has a DSM version of that amp, of that same exact amp that was like a prototype. Yeah, it's very cool.
They made that?
I think he had a video on it too. I'm not sure, but it's very cool. No, they didn't make it. It was a prototype, I believe.
Wow.
What you guys feeling?
So what I remember about this series of amps, and I've looked at them over time, I remember that there was, so our max is 250 watts. Is that what we said?
At 4 ohms.
At 4 ohms with a 2-channel, right?
No, not necessarily a 2-channel. He just said it had less than
4 channels.
No, he said it didn't have 4 channels.
I said it wasn't a 4-channel.
So that means it could still be one of those 6 channels, like the 366. And I mean that was kind of an iconic amp in the time.
Oh, it was for certain. It was. Yeah.
Did they have another 6-channel that was not a 360?
No,
as far as
I know
power
that. No,
because then that would
there's
have
no
been
way.
a
One of our last. Well, we know it's not a 4-channel.
we got to
We
narrow
don't-
down the power. We got to figure out, like, are we going to go between this wattage and this wattage?
Yes,
Because I was
agreed.
almost going to get ready to ask, like, was it plus 200 or more total? But then when she threw in that 125.2, that could also be a possibility too.
Yep,
Um,
yep, that's right. That's right.
They had several. They had several models of that.
They had a 50.2. They had a 125.2. They had a
360.6.
360.6. Did they have a 400.2? I want to say that was the biggest one, but
400.2.
yeah, and that one was like
They did.
everybody.
They had a 500.2, but not the same year that they had the Transana. That was a later
Okay.
black and grind, or
That was a black and grind. Oh,
but
you know
but
what?
they
That
did
wasn't
have
even-
they had it in chrome.
Yeah, it
Chrome
wasn't
and
an
a black and
A2. It
grind.
was just like the 2 version. I think that one was.
Yeah.
They were talking
Didn't they call this series like the Eagle series because it was kind of had the bald eagle, golden eagle
It could have been.
type look? I think I'm leaning to this 360.6 myself. I mean, that's if you look at something that hasn't been tested, it's it's an oddball. There aren't a lot of them out there. It fits the power, range. We know it's Rockford.
Oh, so see, Rick correct me. He said there was a 500.2 gray and gold.
Oh, great.
But see,
What?
he had to correct him so that we know
Yeah.
that that's not it.
There you go.
Aha.
Yeah, that's the tips.
Yeah.
That's the tip.
Pro tip right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So let's narrow it down then on.
Could we use could we possibly narrow it down with like a silly question like does it start with an even or odd number or anything like that? We could do anything with the numbers on the power ratings.
Or I tell you, there's a
Or
little hack.
prime.
There's a little hack you could use when you're down to your last question. You could say, "Have we mentioned this amp at any time in this broadcast?"
Oh.
But we've mentioned all of the ones we're thinking about, right?
That's the issue with that.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah, that helps.
yeah.
It's nearly 3 in the morning. No, it's like 2:15.
That's
so
what I'm
that's
leaning
basically
towards that one
what
too, David. The 202. I want to say that's it. But we got to narrow it down away from the 6 channel.
So what's the
So
what's the
let's-
numbers again? Is it 50, 125, 200, 360, and 500? Is that right?
But the 500 is not in there because he didn't even
The
know that one
500 is not
existed.
in there. Okay.
So I want to say it's one. I want to say it's either the 52, the 125.2, the 202, or the 606.
So you could narrow it down to just 2 of them by saying, does it start with an even or an odd number, right?
Yeah, and then we have a
Am I
50-50 shot.
Is it? Am I thinking that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
just trying to
the
think of any other ways
50
you could.
125.
Is there multiples we could
Six.
use? Like, is it a multiple of something?
Oh, you know what?
Think any other
That's
ways
a
we
good
could
idea.
do it, like
That's a
splitting
good
it into
idea.
factors or
Alright, yeah,
something?
Exactly.
we could split the
I'm
2
trying
lower
to do
class
math
ones.
at like 2:15 in the morning. It's like,
It-
trying to think of a math. What's the numbers again? I'm gonna write them down and then I'm gonna see if I come up with some math for it. Like
Yeah.
a
50 by
sort of
2,
equation. So 50 by 2,
125 by 2,
50 by
200 by 2, and a 600 by 6.
So 50 by 2,
Oh,
125.2, 360, and what
By
was the other one?
6, and then the 200 by 2.
And I'm just
Might
going to look at those
also-
numbers for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, might also be able to look at this from a square root.
Square
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
I didn't know there was gonna be math involved.
I know.
Yeah, that's the only way to eliminate. We've got 4 numbers. Yeah, we've got to come up with some math problem that's going to eliminate them as best as we can. But the problem is, your best option is to split the problem size in half, more so than round it down to 1. Because if you ask for 1, you could end up with the possibility you end up with 3 left.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
simple,
a simple one would be
odd or even.
starting with an even number wouldn't actually work because the 3 of them start with an
would-
odd number.
No, we have the 50, the
So I'm gonna give you guys a big.
125, the
I'm
2,
gonna
and
throw
then the
you a.
6. So,
I'm gonna throw you a life jacket here. With the 19th question, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna do the hack for you and tell you that you have not asked or mentioned this amp number in this entire broadcast yet.
So we would have rounded it down
And
to what it was.
and nobody in chat has mentioned it yet either.
Wait, so which number are we missing? That's the
hold on,
question.
did I hear that correctly as far as the end number? So he's saying it's not a 6-channel and it's not a 2-channel.
The number
Is that
at
what he's
all.
saying?
The number at all has not been mentioned. The full model number, or they've been close, but
So
they've
we're
not hit
missing
it.
a particular
Right.
They didn't
from
have a
that series.
3-channel. I don't think they had a 3-channel in the Transana.
Yeah,
Have we
Okay,
thought
so
about monos?
They had them. They had to have had a monoblock. They had to have had a monoblock in that series.
Oh,
So
there.
nobody's mentioned a monoblock yet. We've all been stuck on this 2-channel.
In the chat, think back, yeah, and
Well,
let us know of any
yeah.
mono blocks in that series.
Help them out, chat. You haven't mentioned it yet.
Wasn't
You've
there
mentioned a lot of
500
the models.
Wasn't there a
25 to life?
501?
You've all got Google it, like in the chat.
Yeah. There you go. Oh man.
Hold on. Was Rockford doing that 20? No, that had to be precision power. I might have it backwards. The 22 by and a half by 2 or whatever it was. Hold on. That a 20 was that Rockford, right? They were just 25 by 2, right? They never had like that weird and a half in their.
Oh, sure they
No
did.
comment. No comment.
Sure they did. Yeah. We're still in the 90s, right?
Yeah. If you guys are ready to throw in the towel, I've got it popped up. I can show you.
No, wait a second. We haven't exhausted our questions. Let's
We have
just
one more
exhaust
question.
the questions
We got it.
and go for
We've gotten
Murphy
stumped,
here.
guys, for
We're wrong.
47
We're wrong.
minutes on one question.
Okay, somebody.
Yes,
somebody
sir.
question.
If you don't figure it out, I'm playing this sound.
Yeah. No, I'd rather go out shooting than just be shot. Let's go. Ask.
Well, it's a number we haven't thought of yet. That's the only problem. So all our guesses are going to be wrong.
Yes.
So we need to figure out what that missing number is without googling it ourselves. I guess we're not allowed to use Google on this.
Let's
break it down a little better.
Let's recap what we know so far, and you guys can start, and I'll fill you in with anything that you may have missed. That way, Jesse,
someone's
and the chat room
mentioned
can help you.
22.5 times by 2 as well in the chat, and a 60.2.
About ready to break out the fire extinguisher here.
60.2. You said 22 and a half by 2? That was a Rockford amp, huh?
Yeah, 22. Well, someone called Vegeta. I guess he watches Dragon Ball Z. But 22.5 by 2.
And
someone called Jay Welsh has mentioned an 800 by 2.
But that would be 800 watts by 2.
Yes, that's outside of the range of the maximum RMS, right? So it's going to be, if these two amps do exist, the 22.5 or the 60.2. But I can't. I'm guessing we can't use Google, so we can't clarify if these are correct or not, or if they even exist. Not that I'm not trusting the chat, but.
So here's my question between Car Audio Guy and Jason. When it comes down to it, so like the 600 by 6, for example, that was just total power, the 600, split between the 6 channels. Should we narrow a question down and ask, like, does the model number specify the total power of the amp, or does the model number specify what the amp did specifically at 4 ohms? Because I think 250 by 2 was a power amp, yeah. Because I mean, even the 250 by 2, that was a 125 by 2 at 4 ohms and 250 by 2 at 2 ohms. And
but was our previous answer that we had said that it was 250 watts per channel? Did I hear that correctly earlier on?
Less.
The 252 was 125 by 4 ohms. So.
We have 1 or 2 questions left.
One question, and then we have to guess.
Yep. And just I've got both. I've got the victory sound effect and the fail sound effect loaded up. So it
All
depends
right.
on you guys. It's
Oh,
all on
gosh.
you. I threw you off with the Rockford Fosgate. I knew it. See, I went easy the first time, but then Brad and JDR, they got me, man. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah. JDR's
They
laughing
just
at
made
us
it harder
right
on
now.
you guys.
Yeah, he's laughing at us right now. He set
Yeah.
us up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a meatball you threw them. I mean, come on.
Well,
All right.
Let's ask the final question. I got one more we can do quickly after this. I really stumped you guys on this one. I like this. I have all the power, man. It feels so good. Uh-oh. Mark has lost faith. Mark has lost faith in all of you.
dang. All right. I think let's just ask a power total question. I think like I'm gonna, for example, say like, does the
Go for
forum
it.
ratings total, add up to more than? For example, this is a hypothetical question, Rob. I'm telling
right.
Jason this. Like if it adds up to more than 200 watts, because then that would eliminate everything above the 252, and then that would show. Yeah, because then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 amps we could eliminate.
Yeah, that cuts it in half. So, yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Let's just do it.
All right, Rob. Does the total power of the amplifier when rating it at 4 ohms, when you add all the channels, whether it's 1 channel to 6 channels, is it more than 200 watts?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're at the guess. We're at the guess.
All right.
You know what I wish I had? Like some old 8-bit like boss battle music. That's what I need to get queued up next time. We're on the 20th question.
Yeah.
So it's late for me at the moment, but does that mean we eradicated like 22.5 and 120.2
Yes.
and all the little lower power ones? It's a high power one, right?
Right.
So there's I'm looking back at the chat now. Someone mentioned the 800 by 2.
Yeah, but he didn't know about that one.
That that's more than 250 watts at 4 ohms.
At 4 ohms, yeah, because
okay.
that's a 400 at 4 ohms.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's down to the 250 by 2. That would still be 125 at 4 ohms. So that's 250, and he said it was more than 200.
The Transana, I will tell you that the Transana were not always rated like the Black and Grinds.
Rick also mentions the 225 by 2.
The 225 by 2. Now, see, that's the amp that I'm thinking is the one that started that technology. Like, that was the first one to come out of them.
Yeah.
Yep, I think you're right.
I think Rick's onto something.
I got a lot of faith in Rick.
Yep.
He knows his stuff. He's seen
knows
all the
Rockford.
videos. He's there everywhere.
He's pretty much the video king. That is very true. He's on like every live stream.
Oh yeah. I mean,
is this our guess?
Well, I mean, if I was to dial up a lifeline and say, "Hey, what do you think?" I'd call Rick. If Third Era wasn't available, I'd call.
And then
Rick.
also you can blame Rick if it's wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. Oh, there we go.
It's like a win-win.
Put my faith in Rick.
It's a win-win.
All right, let's hear it.
Go ahead, the cardio guy. Give it to him.
All right. So are we all going on the 225.2? Yeah. Yeah. So is it the 225.2? Thank you so much, Rick. I owe you one.
Yes. It was it was rough. You got it on the 20th question, but you did guess it.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievably with, maybe like 10 or 12 times more help than you should got from me, but Rick got to it. I do have one more I can do. Now, Anthony, the cardio guy, if you need to jam out, man, and go to sleep, Totally get it.
I'll stick around, man.
All right. All right. So you guys did win one. This one, I'm going to tell you right now. And you know what I forgot to do? I played the music, but I did not show you, just so everyone could see what this looks like. Check it out. Now, this came with silver and gold in bells, and I had both actually. I had a 225 2 with the silver and a 225 2 with the gold. But that's it, just before the black and grind. All right, cool.
Yeah, that 244 was my first initial thought, but when I was thinking of the one that came out first, I think they came out with the 4-channel first before the 2.
Yeah.
Rick wins the showcase showdown.
Yeah. Come on down, Rick Quattlebaum.
Yeah.
And that's such a tough one, man. Because it is late and it's like just before the black and grinds. They only made it. Yeah, man. Gold went to dealers. Went to better dealers, yeah. And if you remember, the A models were all the ones sold at Best Buy. All the .2s were the ones sold in dealers, even though there's absolutely zero difference between them. But
yeah.
All right, I got one more. I've got both the sound effects queued up. Let's just start in. This one's tough, but it ranges such a. I'm just gonna start you off with a clue. It ranges such a broad span that it may be a little bit easier. So, whoever wants to start it, go ahead and start it. All right. We hearing questions?
Trying to think the best way to approach this. We want to get our problem size in half right away, really. Bit of binary search on the go. I'm from a computer science background, so. So, trying to think, how could we split this problem size in half right away?
I'm telling you, do the buyout. The buyout, I mean.
Well, you need to know what kind of equipment it is.
That's what I mean.
Start it off.
The companies that are still around after the buyout, though. Those companies, that's a good question that I use the buyout for, because back in the day, those people that were making amps.
Thanks, Rick. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Gene Nava hit me up earlier in the super chat as well. Thank you, dude.
Check 1, 2.
Yo, Jason, we hear you.
Yo, Jason, I got you.
El Fuego. The fire. Does he hear us?
The car audio guy, what were you thinking to try to narrow it down? Like some type of product question, like subwoofer or amp or something like that?
I was wondering if like the gauge of the cable or something that goes into the device.
Hello?
I don't know if that narrows it down. So, for example, you wouldn't use a 4 gauge on a subwoofer, would you? Well,
yeah, that's a pretty good question.
But I guess keep it to like obviously what the manufacturer ratings are on there. Because there'll be someone out there that will use like a silly oversized cable on the output side of an amp that doesn't need to. But you could ask, because if it's a really low gauge, then obviously it would be could be like a head unit or something like that. But if it's we need to think up of what gauge wire. I'm feeling 8 personally. We might narrow a lot down.
Say we'd be okay asking if it was smaller than if it was 12 or smaller, because there was no amp that there was no subwoofers back then that had anything bigger than a 12 gauge, unless it was the power the power series stuff. It would all have been a 12 gauge or smaller. There was no 8 gauge sub, so we should even think smaller, maybe 16 gauge, because then that could be the head unit.
And we need to think on what side, the input or the output as well. I'm assuming you're thinking more the input side. So the signal going in, so that'd be the signal either going in on the subwoofer or the signal going in on the amplifier, because you could ask the question, 12, is it less than 12 gauge? But we're not specifying which side. So, it could have less than 12 gauge on the output side, and you could answer obviously like yes on that question. So we need to specify what side. So if we specified on the input side, so either the input going into the subwoofer, the input going into a head unit, for example, so the power and ground going into the head unit, or the input in onto an amp, then that question would work in that case.
Yeah, 8 gauge would be good because there were quite a few of those amps with the 10 gauge with the just the wire sticking out of the amp that you just had to hook onto. So go ahead, ask it.
So you want me to ask about 8? Is it less than like an 8 gauge? Is that right? Yeah, he's nodding his head, so I'm assuming yeah. So is it?
Yeah, sorry, I muted my mic. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
So is it less than 8 gauge or more than 8 gauge? Do you want me to say? It's hard. It's really late at night, so my brain's gone to like dust. Less. I'm assuming by the thumbs down. So, yeah, is it less than 8 gauge?
You can fit 8 gauge or less in it. Yes, it's a maximum of 8 gauge. That's question number 1.
So would that mean that it could possibly be
No
like,
head unit.
It's not a definitely. Well, yeah, it's definitely not a head unit. Not going to fit 8
No
gauge
head
or a
unit.
head unit.
No processor. No.
So it's either
no
going to be an
crossover.
amplifier, or if you really want to try like a subwoofer. If you, I know people in the UK that put 8 gauge wire on their subwoofers, but
And there was only a few subwoofers during the time period that took 8 gauge actually too. Well, let's just narrow it down even more. Jason, you want to ask him if it was a sub or an amp?
I had some technical difficulties. What era are we talking about? Third era?
We haven't even narrowed down the era.
Oh,
No.
So we got 8 gauge and nothing else.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't know the equipment for sure or anything.
Yeah, so we're thinking 8 gauge. Obviously, it's not a head unit. It's
I've got a question.
There were a couple, Jesse.
All right.
That you could possibly. I'm not going to ask it right now, but I'm just going to ask the other two. Do you want to ask if it needs a fuse? Because that would narrow it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got 20 questions.
Well, I was going to say either way. If you say if it needs a fuse, that would be the same way of asking if it was an amplifier or not. Because
I guess, yeah. I was just wondering
there's
if
nothing else that's taking wire in it that. I mean, unless he's thinking like some, because technically it could be a not a distribution block, but it could be a fuse distribution or something. It could be some TIF wires or street wires or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did say it was kind of an oddball. So
even some of the old EQs.
What's the other question you could ask them? Maybe is the screws like on a case or on the case or something? That would narrow it down to like an amplifier if you said because usually they've got screws, and if it's distribution block, they generally don't with what I've seen. They're usually clips, but I wouldn't know about distribution blocks all the way back in the 90s, to be fair, if it is in the 90s.
So I will say this about the 8 gauge. This would be the biggest you could put in there, and most people didn't use 8 gauge. And it would be the very biggest you could put in there. And I'm not even sure if it's rated for 8 gauge, but I have put 8 gauge in a speaker like this before.
This is a speaker.
Speaker.
It's a speaker. It's a speaker.
Oh, dude.
Speaker. I heard it.
Yeah, now I shouldn't have talked. You guys talk too much. I talk.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so it's
you guys got a freebie. Now I'm going to stay quiet.
Not subwoofer.
Let's narrow it down.
Unless it means
if somebody's sticking 8 gauge into something, it's got to be a subwoofer, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't put it on a normal speaker, but
he said speaker though. That's true. Hold on.
He did say speaker though.
Oh man.
I mean, you could see a person with a set of components, getting in there, on the passive crossover.
I think he means more of like a like the old school style, like a Savard has some even, like
like the
where it's not really excursion heavy, but it's still a speaker, quote unquote. But most people are using it as a full range, but still that's their base too.
You guys got
him. I hear you there. Yep.
So, okay.
Oh, that starts to narrow things down. That's good.
Yeah.
That could be the Oh, we haven't even asked about if he had it or not, huh? Let's do that. I'm gonna waste a question here. All right, Rob, is this a product that you've had before?
That I've owned?
Yes, that you've bought, then you've
No,
owned.
nope. I haven't owned one.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
That blows up
So
2
he
or
could
3 things that I thought of. So,
no, because that's a good thing. Because that means it could be he could be trying to troll us again. It could be another Rockford
yeah.
product. It could be the dang
I was gonna ask.
all-in-one, Rockford thing you threw in the back of your pickup.
You two probably know Hi-Fi Vega much better than I do, but is he in? Well, it's probably a daft question to ask now, thinking his name, but is he into sewing Vega at all?
Oh yes.
Ooh.
The Strokers, those were considered a subwoofer though. I don't think there'd be a speaker.
Yeah, but he might have been trolling us when he said speakers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've accidentally said speaker when I mean subwoofer. It's easily done, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
when we go
he would have.
when we go to Sherwin Vega, I'm not even sure this is car audio.
We could narrow it down by asking if it's a subwoofer, I guess, and then you definitely know it's a speaker.
Sure, do it.
Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah, is it a subwoofer?
Yes, it's a subwoofer.
There you go. That narrows it down. So we managed to get rid of that pathway we was going down with the word speaker.
Here you go. Rick's got you. Loudspeaker.
Yeah, loudspeaker. There you go.
So it's a subwoofer, and he
It
hasn't
fits 8
owned
gauge
it
in there.
before, and you
I
can
just,
sit 8 gauge in it.
the first
I
thing
mean,
that
I know this is
pops-
old school. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
the first thing that pops in my mind is these Savard, pro audio things, but High Five saying he didn't own it, so that's out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think with the show being
Could we ask
old
like what
school
color the
20 questions.
spiders are or anything like that, like to try and narrow it down? Did they have different color? Like the colors of the spiders or anything that you could think of characteristics of subs that might narrow it down quite a lot.
Yeah.
Ohm load,
Yeah,
maybe.
of course. Was it an 8 ohm or was it a 4 ohm?
Or dual or single coil, I guess, isn't it?
Voice coil, dual voice coil, single voice coil.
Well, we could do that basically with a timeline question. You could figure if it was dual voice coil or not.
There you go.
All right. Well, was it pre-90s? That would be my question.
Are you talking about when it originally came out or during its full run?
Ooh. Okay, hold on. Let me see here then. Hold on. Okay, that could be a kicker subwoofer. That's the original Solar Barrack, right? Was that 89? Hold on. I'm trying to think. Chat room, help us out. Come on now.
Well, I remember the old.
I mean, they're throwing some stuff out in here, man. I just
Is it adjustable?
I can't show y'all any more than that.
Oh, okay, that's stroker right there. You could adjust the little. No later.
There was some subs that took some power from back then.
I remember back in the day, Kicker produced the what was the C15 and C12 with the gold lettering right there, and there was a guy that had two 18s where I used to go, and some cop pulled over the guy and threatened to give him a ticket for broadcasting without a license. And this is like 87, but I remember those giant Kicker 18s just walled off in a Ford Escort.
It's going to be a big sub, right? If people were considering putting 8 in it.
Mm-hmm. So that's like a 15.
Right.
Yeah, 15.
And I will say that I'm not even going to consider the sub size, since it's a subwoofer. If you can just name the model and brand, that's acceptable.
Okay.
So let's hear another. Let's burn another question here. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's burn one. How about let's figure out if it's like a nostalgic.
Why don't we use the Alpha?
Yeah.
Oh,
another
that's a good
idea.
one. Alphabet's a good one.
Why
That's
don't
a
we
good
use
one,
the
actually.
alphabet to our advantage and go midway in the alphabet and ask if it's like above or below it, maybe, or something? I'm
Okay.
just trying to think. So you got K for kicker, got C for Seven Vega. You got.
Yeah, Jesse, I love that sub.
Trying
Actually,
to think of
I had
Yeah.
a 15 in a fiberglass spot.
pick a letter in the alphabet we could use to
See,
narrow it down.
I thought so. Susan. Okay, so the Sir-1 Vegas accepted 8 gauge. The kicker Solo Barracks is at this C15. MTX had a 12 probably that actually.
Yeah.
Fit.
MTX.
Yeah, I'm feeling
So,
above and below K. Like I said in the chat.
I think if we have a line of demarcation between K and M, that would separate kicker from MTX at least.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the K as well because if it's obviously below K, it opens up like Seven Vega and stuff as well.
Right.
All right. So what's the question? What do we have here? Do you want to know if it's K or below?
Yes. Is the subwoofer K or below?
Then yes, it is. That's 4 questions. You still got
Right.
plenty of
So
questions.
the next question we could ask him is whether it's got more than one word in the brand name. Might round that down a lot because if it's 2 words, that opens up Seven Vega. If it's 1 word, you've got like kicker and stuff. So
You got Alpine.
yeah, it rounds it down quite a lot when if it's a yes to it, but if it's
Correct.
more than one brand word, but it will eliminate Seven Vega. What other brands have got double names in them?
32. Oh, you know what? Did I ever go through with my question on the before the 90s or after the 90s? Huh? We never legitimately made that a question.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought we did.
Because he kind of had that little gray period in there.
Yeah, I did. He didn't clarify it.
Right. Let's clarify that.
All right. So when it first came out, the first year it ever came out, first time hitting the shelves, first time you seen it in a magazine, was it in the 80s?
No. But there's an asterisk to that. There's an asterisk to that, and that's all I'll say.
Hey, that's good stuff though. Asterisks are there's very few.
I'm coming up with some things on this one word concept there, and there was some stuff back in the day, like a Dr. Krankenstein. There was an Eminem Godfather. This 1 word, 2 word, might have something to it. I mean, with the amount of questions we have left, I think
you got plenty.
It's
So
a
should I
question
ask that
worth
one?
asking. So
Right.
the car audio guy, go ahead and ask questions. Alan.
So does the brand name have more than 1 word?
Yes. That's 5 questions.
So that rounds it down a bit.
Yep.
So that's eliminated kicker. It's eliminated
Alpine.
Yeah, loads of them.
Sony.
So it was Seven Vegas still on the cards, and so is the other ones that you mentioned earlier, Jason. Name those out to me again. I'm going to write them down to see if we can maybe use the second letter in the alphabet to round it down even more.
Yeah, sounds.
So we've got Seven Vega.
That's what I'm thinking, Jesse. That's a great
because
guess.
you could use the second alphabet letter for the second word in the brand name. If that makes sense.
I think I might just steal that question.
Right, so we've got Seven Vega. What else comes to mind? That's dual or more brand name.
I'm just thinking of some of the things I've heard on the videos, and one has been Dr. Krankenstein, which is an old school subwoofer. There's Eminem Godfather. There's also the MTX Blue Thunder. I know that's something that's out there.
Remember, it's K K or below.
Okay.
Hair below.
Oh,
Yeah, the first, obviously the first
and
word in the brand is K or
yeah,
below.
Yep.
So,
got
guys,
Blues
so here's a
Audio.
tip. Yeah,
Blues
audio
Audio.
could be in there.
Yep, that was in the Mazda.
Did Planet
So-
Audio make any subs?
But they're above K.
Yep,
Oh
they-
yeah,
yeah.
true. It's like
So the car audio guy, did you see the chat that came up from Jesse that said that the Sherwin Vega, when it first came out as a home audio subwoofer. I mean, a home speaker in the 80s, and then in the 90s, that's when it was released as a subwoofer. So that could kind of explain the reason he was kind of iffy on, it being the 80s or 90s.
I'm feeling
so we might as well
Vega,
just ask if it's Sherwin Vega. Yeah. Is it a Sherwin Vega speaker, Rob?
Yes, it's a Sherwin Vega speaker.
Yeah, you just rounded it right
That's
down.
6.
So you got the choice. When was the Stroker done?
Yeah,
That was like 86 or 84.
So the Stroker's a
was home
possibility,
audio.
right?
Yeah. I'm not so sure it's the Stroker. I remember seeing this car, and this guy had these 12s with it had the red surround, and this guy had backlit the thing, and the red surround was just glowing. And I'm thinking it might be. Oh yeah, I think it might be something.
And you guys got plenty of questions to narrow
You
it
could
down.
ask the color scheme. Then you could maybe ask if it had a dash of red in it, or if it had a dash of gold in it, or yellow.
I mean, that's an iconic sub. You see everybody have that with the D-Max series.
Right. But that red surround was also prevalent in all the home audio that Sherwin Vega put out too. I remember. So
it did transfer over into car audio too, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, oh, maybe that should be the question then. The model that he's considering, is it a home audio or is it a car audio?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it's good question.
Because Sherwin Vega had 2 different lines.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear the question. Go
ahead,
ahead,
Jason. Yeah, get a question in there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this Sherwin Vega subwoofer, is it a home model or is it car audio model?
Both.
Whoa. All right.
That's 7.
And this is not car audio in the home. You're talking.
I'm talking legit both.
Okay. Got it.
Does that put the Stroker back on the cards at all? You probably got a much better understanding of the order.
In my opinion,
I think it does. Yeah, I think that puts the Stroker back on.
I can't even think of any other models.
Every time I hear Stroker, all I can think of is Ed's video where he wakes up in his bed and he's like,
that was an epic. That was the best
such a good
Stroker video ever.
That's whenever I hear Stroker, that's the only thing that pops in my mind.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So do we have to get to 21 before we answer it?
No, you can answer it any time.
Go ahead.
But if you guess wrong, you get the fail sound.
Yeah, I'm not gonna guess it like that. So let's do it this way. Does it have a traditional single roll surround or no?
Or accordion, right?
Well, because a double roll.
So what's the
surround,
question? It's got to be yes or no.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Was it a double roll round stitch surround or higher?
Are you saying what's the difference between we have a single roll, a double roll
because
surround?
they had a double roll red surround subwoofer that was in the home and in car audio.
So you're asking if it's the double surround? No, it's not double surround. That's 8. It's not a double roll surround.
One thing that would separate the Stroker from other subs would be this accordion.
The surround in the middle on the cone, right? Was that introduced back on those old early Strokers?
Yeah,
that was the whole basis behind them.
But even the old Strokers had accordion on the outside, just like the Savard subs that Hi-Fi has in his ISO box. They had that accordion design.
So you want to ask it?
Yeah. So did this subwoofer have accordion surround?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Then we're getting close to the stroker, guys. I don't think there's much else out there.
I mean, we could. I know.
You could ask if there's a spider on the cone, I guess. Like Rick's been saying. We should listen to Rick.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
do
it. That's
he's
what I was
our
going
main
to
man.
recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it's there, we'll know. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Our Lord and Savior Rick asks, "Is there a spider on the cone?"
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Is
Remember,
there,
guys, he's. I think there's going to be a twist to this. If we just guess Serwin, the Serwin Stroker.
might there? I mean, maybe there's a question where is there this little silver thing that sticks up in the middle of the spider?
Go for it. We still got loads of questions, man.
You were only at 10 questions. You got
Ask
plenty.
it, Jason. Go ahead. Let's get it. Let's narrow it down.
Oh, yeah. Well, does it have the little silver thing in the middle of the spider and in the middle of the subwoofer?
Yes.
All right.
You could ask the question, I guess, if it's in Ed's video.
It's definitely a Sherwin Vega stroker at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of were there different model of the strokers though.
Man,
I wasn't a big Serwin Vega guy. I only knew somebody that had the. Actually, I accumulated them, but it was the red surrounded, the home audio ones that I actually put in my car.
yeah. The ones like I was talking with the backlit, glowed red,
So if you remember before, I said that I'm not gonna hold you to a certain size or type.
Rick, do a Google search for us on what model stroker there was back then, and just put in the chat.
We're
a super chat.
They're yelling at you.
No, Rick. What do you do? You just draw it from memory.
I mean,
let's go with the stroker, guys. Let's do it.
Yeah, is it the Sherwin Vega stroker?
Let me see here. What does the audience say? Yes.
All right.
Dude, they had this. Let me see what time. I don't even know if I could go back. But they had it literally like within question 1 or 2. Let me see. After I said speaker.
48 minutes, and that was, I think it came up at like 52 minutes, so 4 minutes.
Okay, look. 8:35 p.m. my time. It's 8:53 now. That's when Jesse come up with it. It says stroker. Mark just before it said, is it a certain Vega sub? Yeah. So, yeah. Very cool, man. You guys got them all. I appreciate Anthony staying up so late. He's got a long drive tomorrow. And, that's going to be good times. So, I would just want to thank everybody for joining us, watching, helping these suckers out, even though they drug it on as long as they could on this last one. But thank you. We're going to do it again. If you want to be on this show, send me an email, hi5vega@gmail.com. I plan on doing much more. I'd like to have at least 2 to 3 guests on each one. I can get up to 5 guests. So if you think this is cool, if you like it, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, share it, do all that type of stuff. And I appreciate you gentlemen for taking the time with me. And everybody else in the chat, thank you. We're signing out. You guys, cardio guy, got anything you want to pimp before we get off? Ed, Jason?
Yeah. So if you don't already know, I've got a channel myself, so if you can check that out, that'll be awesome. More viewers, more subscribers, always a good thing. So that's what I'm pimping out today.
Yeah, I just caught your new video too. It's cool. And I was waiting for the next one. I like the crumpets bit and all that. Very nice.
Yeah, the crumpets at the end.
I bet your other friends over there are like, what is going on with
this
guy?
I get that. If someone from the UK watches it, they're just like, oh, fuck.
Like, you're embarrassed. Get it off. You're embarrassing us. What about you, Ed? You got anything you want to pimp?
Just the old school SPL challenge, man. I've got 3 boxes built already, waiting for somebody to send me a meter.
Oh, I know, man. I just got to build a box of my own.
Other than that, just get involved in that old school SPL challenge. I mean, every day I look on OfferUp and I see 2 or 3 amps that qualify. So,
get in there.
For
sure. And our dude Jesse was cool enough to buy a meter, and he's sending it around to everyone. So that big shout out to him, man. That's a very cool thing to do. What about you, El Fuego?
Hey, I'd just like to thank the community for, bringing this together. High Five Vega for presenting this content, and for those that are considering being the next people on this kind of a discussion. It's a lot of fun and exciting. I'd like to be the person just, kind of listening in next time around. Going in on the chat and whatnot. It's participate, contribute as you can. To me, this is a lot of fun and it's exciting. So I just encourage everybody to participate.
Yeah, man. And look at that sticker he's rocking right there. Representing big time. The third era.
Boom.
He's got it on the laptop over there, and I'm gonna send the car audio guy some so he can put them up over there. So all right, guys.
Still waiting for my amp, Hi-Fi.
Oh, I know, man. It's right here. I can see it. I haven't got it in the box, but I'm gonna get it in the box at some
problem.
point. It's just gonna be a running gag forever.
Yeah, it's no problem. I don't need it.
All right, guys, we're signing out. We'll see you later.
Thanks.
Peace.